Hello and welcome to Big Future Scholarships Week. My name is Palin Liu. I use he, him pronouns, and I'm thrilled to be kicking off tonight's two of Big Future Week's scholarships, Paying for College 101. Thank you so much for joining us today. After a long day at school or work, you might be anywhere, but we're glad you decided to spend this time with us. Big Future Scholarships Week is a special week of live, free events celebrating the launch of Big Future Scholarships. During these events, you can get your questions answered about choosing a career and the education you need to reach it, and learn how sophomores, juniors, and seniors can qualify for monthly $500 and $40,000 scholarships from Big Future. Here's a little bit more about me. I'm a sophomore at New York University studying childhood education and special education with a minor in child and adolescent mental health studies. In 2022, I won the $40,000 Big Future Scholarship simply by taking steps to plan for life after high school. And you can too. The scholarship has helped me focus more on my education and less on if I'm able to afford it. Excited to share that I'll be studying away at NYU London the spring of 2024 with the help of Big Future Scholarship. College is expensive. You always hear that there's so many scholarships out there, but how do you know exactly which one is legit, and do you actually get one? Today, we're joined by experts from Columbia University, the Jackie Robinson Foundation, the Daniels Fund, the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, and another Big Future Scholarship winner to answer your questions about scholarships and paying for college. So get your questions ready and welcome to Big Future Scholarships Week.
You were entered into the scholarship, and we drew your name this month, and you have won a $40,000
Ariana went into Big Future, and she added 6 schools to her college list. Well, guess what, Ariana? You won.
You are the winner of a $40,000 Big Future Scholarship from the College Board.
$40,000!
You have won a $40,000 scholarship.
You won a $40,000 scholarship.
This is the right card. Every single one of you are getting $40,000 in scholarships.
$40,000.
I wish I would have known about these programs earlier because I could have been applying last year.
This really just opens up so many more opportunities for me.
I say use it. Give it a chance. You never know what's going to happen.
You just earned $40,000 from Big Future.
Wow, I've got to say that video never gets old. And if you were looking closely, you might have seen the moment that Palin actually won his $40,000 scholarship as well. Thank you for kicking off the event, Palin, and thank you to all of the students and caring adults joining us this evening. Welcome to Big Future Scholarships Week, Paying for College 101. My name's Greg Rafal. I use he, him pronouns, and I work here on the Big Future team. I'm going to be your host for this evening, and I'm so excited to welcome you to, of course, Big Future Scholarships Week. As Palin said, our goal here this week is to answer your questions. So you're not going to sit through a bunch of PowerPoint slides. I don't have a really long presentation for you tonight. This is a virtual community powered by students like you, parents like you, caring adults like you, and of course, your questions. And tonight, of course, is extra special because not only will you get your questions answered, you'll also learn how sophomores, juniors, and seniors can qualify for $500 and $40,000 Big Future scholarships. Tonight, you're going to connect with financial aid and scholarship experts so that you can get your questions answered and plan your future your way. We only have 45 minutes, and we know time is going to fly by. We already have a ton of folks here with us tonight, so let's go ahead and meet our guests for today. All right. So I'm going to call on everyone just to give a quick intro before we dive into the meat of the discussion. Tell us your name, what you do, and give us one misconception about scholarships or financial aid. And Mike, you're first on my screen, so go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Greg. Hi, everyone. My name is Mike Hall, he, him, his pronouns. I'm the Executive Director of Financial Aid at Columbia University, in particular for Columbia College and Columbia Engineering, the main undergraduate programs. Let's see, one common misconception, I'd say, a very common one is that everybody pays the sticker price, and that is just so not true about financial aid. Columbia costs about $90,000 a year if you look at the sticker price, but we have so many students who come here with significant financial aid, including full rides, and I'd just say, check out the school's net price calculator. That's where you can really find a better idea of how much it'll cost.
All right, that's a great tip to get us started, Mike. Good to know about that sticker price. Todd, you're up.
Great, thanks, Greg. Hi, everyone. My name is Todd Penner. I'm with the Michael and Susan Dell Foundation, and I'm the director of our Dell Scholars Program, which is a scholarship program for Pell-eligible students across the country. We support about 2,000 students nationally at about 500 different colleges, and really happy to be here. I'd say one common misconception I hear is that a scholarship equals money. And while that is true for many programs, including some of the ones represented on this call, it's a lot more than money. We offer a lot more supports than that. So don't forget that if you are applying for a scholarship, you can expect a lot more than just a check.
Great to know, Todd. I can't wait to hear more about, what a scholarship could entail. Thanks for being here. Jeff, over to you.
Thanks, Greg. Hey, everyone. My name's Jeff Steepleton. I'm the Scholar Selection Manager at the Daniels Fund. We're a private foundation that was started by cable television pioneer Bill Daniels in the year 2000. We operate out of Denver and support about 900 scholars at any one time from Colorado, New Mexico, Utah, and Wyoming with 4-year need-based scholarships. I actually had the same thoughts to share as Todd, but I'll take a slightly different approach and just say, we're people here behind the corporate fancy websites, and we want to help you, and we're friendly, and we're open to questions. And so don't be intimidated when you see the name or the fancy website. We're people behind that screen that are there to help you and enjoy doing so.
That's a great point, Jeff. And that's part of why Big Future Live exists, to show you that there are people here to support you. Thanks so much, Jeff. Jose, over to you.
Hi, everyone. My name is Jose. I use he, him pronouns. I'm a program associate at Matriculate. We're a community-based organization that supports low-income students applying to college. And I'm also a recipient of Big Future's $40,000 Scholarship Award. Very excited to be here tonight. And I'd say that one misconception I'm sitting with is that financial aid remains outside of your control. I think there's a lot of things that you can actually do and act on to really secure and make college affordable choice.
That's great, Jose, and can't wait to hear the advice that you and the rest of our panelists have to share to help students take control and empower them to learn how to pay for college and with different resources. And last but not least, Keisha.
Hi, everyone. My name is Keisha Taff. I am the Vice President of Core Programs at the Jackie Robinson Foundation. Jackie Robinson Foundation was established in 1973. So we just celebrated our 50-year anniversary, really spirited with the idea of ensuring that underrepresented students have an opportunity to go to college without the worry of the financial implications. So we've been providing scholarships since 1973 to anywhere from 40 to 65 students annually. And similar to some of my colleagues on the panel, the program that we offer does offer wraparound services. So that's a big part of our work as well. I would say a misconception that I think folks have about, paying for college or financial aid is really this idea around scholarships being either merit-based or, income-based. And there are a number of scholarships, particularly ours, where certainly we're looking at folks that have need, but it isn't as black and white as you may think. So we are looking at a number of different variables to consider when we are selecting scholars for the program. So if you're interested in an opportunity, I would encourage you, if you meet the eligibility requirements for the most part, go ahead and apply.
Great advice, Keisha. And I'm sure a lot of students out there are wondering about eligibility and what the selection process looks like. So I'm sure we'll have more on that later. Thank you all for being here. You've already shared advice, and I can't wait to hear the tons of advice you're going to share in the next 45 minutes or so. But tonight is all about paying for college and learning about Big Future scholarships. But before we get started, I want to see from our audience at home, what do you know already about Big Future scholarships? So tell us, how many Big Future scholarships do we award each month? You're going to see a quick poll pop up on your screen and tell us, again, how many Big Future scholarships do you think we award each month? While you're answering that quick poll, let's talk about how today is going to work. There's an Ask a Question box at the bottom of your screen where you can type in your questions. We have folks on the back end who are monitoring all the questions that are coming in. And so we're going to get to as many of those as possible. Also, if you miss anything during tonight's event, you have to walk away from your computer or from your phone for a moment. Don't worry, the recording is going to be available later on demand at bigfuture.org/live. We're also going to send you an email tomorrow with that recording too. So we're starting to see some responses come in. Let's see what you all think. So it looks like about 36% of you think there is one $500 scholarship and one $40,000 scholarship each month. About 6% of you think 2 scholarships each month, but 50% of you said hundreds of $500 scholarships and 2 $40,000 scholarships each month. Well, the correct answer is yes, hundreds of $500 scholarships and 2 $40,000 scholarships each month. So as you complete steps on your Big Future dashboard, like starting your college list, starting your career list, starting your scholarship list, you can earn entries for $500 and $40,000 Big Future scholarships. The more steps you take, the more chances you have to win. And the best part, there's no application, no GPA requirement, no essay. You simply qualify by taking steps on your personalized dashboard. You can go to bigfuture.org/scholarships now to learn more and get started. And you're in the right place because we'll have more on Big Future scholarships later in the program. But I can see time is flying by already. So let's jump into some questions from our audience. So our first question is going to be for you, Jose. And this question is from Haya. Haya wants to know, when should I start worrying about paying for college?
Yeah, it's a great question. And I think to push a little bit on the framing, I think instead of worrying, I think to really think seriously about what paying for college entails. That can start as early as you're ready to think about any post-secondary option that really excites you, what you want to do with your future, your career, and your life. And if college is a right path for you, I think that it's really important to consider what options are out there in terms of institutional aid, and try to use those tools like Mike mentioned earlier that provide a picture into what type of cost you can expect from an institution, and seeing what, if any, differences there are that might be helpful to fill those gaps with opportunities like scholarships that my colleagues on the panel offer. So I would say that it starts as early as you want to think about what is your own trajectory and what are some places that might help support the path that you want in your life.
That's a great response, Jose, and a great way of helping Haya to frame that when you start really thinking about it, not necessarily worrying. And Appreciate that response. Our next line of questioning is going to go to you, Mike. So we have some questions about the FAFSA. And Olivia wants to know, well, first, Isabel wants to know just what is the FAFSA? And Olivia wants to know what should we know about the new FAFSA as well?
Yeah, well, great questions. So first off, the FAFSA itself, what is it? It is the free application for federal student aid. And what I'll say is it's the most common financial aid form that's out there. Students applying to Columbia need to fill it out. Students need to apply for financial aid. Just about any university or college out there are going to need to fill out. And even for some of the scholarship agencies. I'm not sure if those here tonight actually require it, but certainly there are some who require it. What about the new FAFSA? Okay, so this is a big one. And actually, Greg, I think there's another session later in a couple weeks, maybe more specifically on this. But let me give you some highlights right now. So first off, it's not live yet, but it should be live by the end of the month. That's what we're hearing. And the key thing I would say right now that students should do and their parents and everyone else is get what is called an FSA ID. So an FSA ID is sort of how you log into the FAFSA, how you sign the FAFSA. And it's something that all students and parents, or what they're going to call contributors now, are going to need to get. And they're changing the rules, actually, so you don't even need an SSN to get an FSA ID going forward. So that's a new thing. So for students whose parents may not have an SSN for various reasons, maybe they're out of the country, they can now get an FSA ID. And that's going to be the simplest way to fill out the FAFSA. It's going to be a lot shorter and simpler. They're estimating maybe as fast as 10 minutes for some students to fill it out this time around. But that's the key thing I'd say. Get your FSA IDs ready, because if you have that all set, it should be a pretty smooth process to fill it out.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mike. Great information to get us started here. And you're right, we do have another Big Future Live session coming up. Actually, next week on December 13th, we'll have a session called What You Need to Know About the New FAFSA. There's also a session on a Real Talk session on December 12th, all about the FAFSA as well. So please join us for that. And if you're looking for more FAFSA guidance, you can head to Big Future. As Mike said, the new FAFSA application will launch by the end of the month. And with that application opening later, what can you do to prepare now? As Mike said, create your FSA ID. If you're looking for more guidance on how to do that, you can actually scan the QR code on your screen. It'll take you to Big Future with like a step-by-step guide on how to actually do that. You can also look to Big Future for additional content and articles to help you stay on track. And lastly, for our 12th graders out there, be sure to complete the FAFSA by February 28th to qualify for $500 and $40,000 Big Future scholarships. So that's enough for me for now on the FAFSA. Let's get back to some questions from our audience. Our next question is going to be for you, Keisha. Megan wants to know, we keep talking about if you qualify for scholarships. What are the requirements to qualify for a scholarship?
That's a really good question. I think, obviously it varies from scholarship to scholarship. For the Jackie Robinson Foundation Scholarship, what we're looking for is you must be college bound, so have an interest in going to a four-year institution and be graduating. Our cohort that we're looking to recruit, we're looking for you to be graduating in May or June of 2024. We ask that you are a U.S. citizen. And again, to some degree, we do need to, through the CSS profile, we are looking to get a bigger picture of your current income and family income. Really demonstrate a record of academic excellence. So we are asking for transcripts. We are looking to see that you have some level of community service and you have participated in some capacity in extracurricular activities, community-based activities. We don't require SAT or ACT scores, but if you would like to include those in your application, we welcome that. And then we ask, because we do support you over 4 years, we do ask that we are aware that many of our applicants are doing dual programs, doing college credit while they are in 12th grade, but we ask that that not exceed 25%. You must be a first-year student upon enrollment into college. And pretty much we do ask that you have a letter of recommendation, and we do ask you to complete 4 essays. You know, not intense, but certainly we want to get a sense of how you think, you know, what are your plans for college, etc. So, you know, that's kind of the eligibility on our end at the Jackie Robinson Foundation.
Thanks so much for that, Keisha. I really appreciate it. And Megan, it's a great question. When you're also looking for scholarships, say on Big Future through the Big Future directory, pay attention to the section that says eligibility requirements and how to qualify. They'll also give you a good range because every scholarship is going to be a little bit different as well. Thanks so much, Keisha. Our next question is going to be for you, Todd. And Alana wants to know, what is the difference between merit and income-based scholarships?
Sure. That's a great question. So income-based scholarships are typically awarded to students who have financial need. And by that, I mean, they've filled out FAFSA, they qualify for the Pell Grant, some sort of financial need, and the criteria that the scholarship is using in its selection takes into account financial need. Whereas a merit-based scholarship basically is the opposite. It is not taking into account financial need. That's not to say that merit scholarships are only for students who have no financial need, but it simply means that what you're being evaluated on has nothing to do with your income level. It has everything to do with either your academics, your accomplishments. It might be a scholarship that's designed for students who play in the band or students who are athletes, or could be anything. But what is key about a merit scholarship is that the income level of the applicant is not considered.
Great explanation, Todd. Thanks for that, and great question, Alana. Our next question, we're going to go back to FAFSA and financial aid a little bit here. So Mike, this one is going to be for you. We have a question from Ronnie. Ronnie wants to know, what is the best way to handle financial aid that is unique to each college I'm interested in? What are the important things that I should look for when I'm looking at school aid programs? And then I'm going to tack on a question from Emmanuel as well. What are the differences between the IDOC CSS profile and the FAFSA?
Okay, I may need a little help remembering each of those as we go. But great question, Ronnie. And so let me say, I mean, I think when comparing aid offers, there's one common thing to do. And you could do this, I believe the College Board has some tools. I know you, Aspire, has some tools. But the key thing is you want to look at what are the billable costs, so tuition, fees, room and board, for each of the schools. And you want to subtract just the grants and look at that difference. Look at that bottom line by each school. That is really the best way to compare different offers from different schools. So, you know, yeah, because I mean, really what it gets down to is you care what the actual bill looks like, and then how you finance the rest is a different story, right? So generally, the loans that are put in one package, you know, you could definitely get those loans at most other schools. So, for example, at Columbia, we don't put loans in our financial aid awards initially, but students could still borrow. It's really the cost, in particular, the billable, what we'll call the billable cost, tuition, fees, room, board, minus the grants. And that's how you should really compare your financial aid offers across the schools. Now, Greg, remind me of the second part. It was something about profile or?
Yeah, what is the difference between the CSS profile, FAFSA, and IDOC?
Oh, sure. Yes, great. Okay. So the FAFSA is the federal U.S. Department of Education financial aid form. What I'll say is that is the most common financial aid form. Everybody requires it, including us. Is if there's one thing you do, get your FAFSA done. Beyond that, I know Keisha mentioned looking at the profile. At Columbia, we use the CSS profile as well. The profile, it's like the FAFSA, except it's much more detailed, is probably the best way to say it. And is a College Board system and account and form. You can actually use your SAT logins to help to log in and get started with that. The gist of it is, yeah, it's like FAFSA, just ask more questions. So it'll take a little bit longer, but thankfully I want to give kudos to the College Board folks for looking to make that simpler over time, and I'm definitely involved with them on that. There's also, you mentioned IDOC. So there are other schools, and again, Columbia is one of them, where we actually, in addition to those forms, require copies of both yours and your parents' tax returns. And IDOC is a nice, simple place. You upload it once, and it can get distributed to all these schools that require the tax documents. Now, you're always in control about which schools are getting it, so it's not as if you upload things and it goes out to 100 different schools. But IDOC is a great system where you can upload it once, and then those of us on the school side, when you say, oh, I want to send this to Columbia, or you name the school, we get those documents.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Mike. That was a lot. So hope Emmanuel, Ronnie, I hope that was helpful. Our next question is going to be for you, Jeff. And Beth wants to know, are national scholarships more competitive because they have more applicants than more regional or local scholarships? What would you say to that, Jeff?
Yeah, great question. Well, we're a regional scholarship. So speaking from a regional scholarship standpoint to like a local scholarship, yes, it's more competitive because you're competing against people from a larger geographic area. So if you take that out nationally, yes, it's likely to be more competitive, but there's also likely to be more scholarships awarded. And so you really want to have a good mix and figure out how to balance your time between the national scholarships, regional scholarships, and then local from your Kiwanis Club or Rotary Club that have $1,000 scholarships that oftentimes don't get any applicants for. So I'd say, yes, it is more competitive, the broader. I want to say the Koch Scholarship has, a couple 100,000 applicants because one of my colleagues is helping to read for that. We had 3,600 applicants this year. And so, yes, more competitive, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't apply. You may be a perfect fit for one of those national scholarships.
Awesome. That's great advice, Jeff. Thanks for that. And thanks for the question. Jose, this next one is for you. Wendy wants to know, what year of high school should a student start applying to scholarships? What year of high school?
It's a great question. It really depends. Some scholarship programs might have earlier application timelines, but typically this falls in an individual's junior year of high school. And typically in that spring semester, I would say I've seen the earliest of scholarship applications opening. But usually this work is going to fall in your senior year. A great place to really start working and thinking seriously about what scholarship opportunities you might apply to really starts in that summer before senior year starts, I would say, to really think about what opportunities are out there. Like Jeff mentioned, beyond really national and regional opportunities, there's also a lot of local and other avenues that you can definitely apply for and should think about. One example I'll give is that I applied for a dependency scholarship. Both my parents are cashiers at Walmart, so I was able to apply for that opportunity as well. So really thinking creatively about what opportunities might be out there. If you're part of a club at your high school, like National Honor Society or Rotary that Jeff mentioned earlier, those often also have other opportunities that can be provided locally. So really thinking about in your senior year, what options are out there from your own involvements, interests, is a really great place to start.
Awesome, Jose. That's helpful to give folks a better idea of the timeline. And Wendy, hopefully that answered your question. Our next question is from James. Actually, James and Lynn. We're going to combine two here. And this will go to you, Todd. How would you suggest a student prioritizes which scholarships to apply for? And when would be a good starting point to begin applying? Actually, Jose kind of mentioned that a little bit, but if you have anything to add, go for it.
Sure. So on the when, as Jose mentioned, most larger scholarships, meaning larger in the sense of lots of national applicants, typically have a window of when the scholarship is open for applications. So getting that information either from Big Futures or from the website of the organization that's offering the scholarship, that is typically controlled by the scholarship program. Like for ours opens on October 1st. It closes on December 1st. All the programs are going to be different, so you've got to look at when they're accepting applications. As far as the, I think the other question was how do you prioritize? Yeah.
That's right.
To me, I mean, I would answer that in two ways. One is I would do as many as time permits, because as we've already discussed, a lot of these programs offer scholarships that are fairly competitive to get. So the odds are better if you apply to more of them than just one. But really looking, and we talked about this earlier, looking at the eligibility requirements. Virtually every scholarship is going to have some eligibility requirements, and looking at what those eligibility requirements are and how well do you fit those criteria would be a great place to start, meaning it doesn't do you any good to apply to a scholarship where you're not going to meet all of their eligibility requirements. So I think that's one thing. And then to Jeff's point, spreading out your bets, so to speak, of maybe I'll do one national, one local, one regional, and giving yourself, again, this is about increasing the odds of you getting one. And the more you can do to increase those odds, the greater the likelihood is you're going to get one. And so that's how I would play it, is I would try and do as many as you can and do different ones. Don't do only the large national ones. Don't do only the small local ones. I would do a variety.
Great advice, Todd. Don't put all your eggs in one basket. Kind of look at a variety of scholarships to help your chances. And while we're talking about scholarships, you know, students at home might be wondering, all right, where do I actually find these scholarships, right? So one resource you can use is actually Big Future. And I'm going to share my screen for a moment and actually show you at home how you can actually use this. So you can use Big Future to actually get matched to scholarships. So our scholarship search is a free tool that matches students to a personalized list of scholarships based on your backgrounds and interests that you're eligible for and that you can apply to. That's what our panelists have been talking about. Look at the eligibility. That'll kind of help you prioritize. So I'm going to go under this Pay for College section of Big Future, and I'm going to go to Scholarship Search. This is my test account. So this is actually where you can see some of my scholarship matches. So again, if you answer just a few questions about your background and interests, you can get matched to a list of scholarships that you can apply for and that you are eligible for. Say that you want to see all scholarships. You want to look at everything that's out there, everything on Big Future. You can go over here to the scholarship directory, where you can browse over 24,000 scholarships and you can explore over $1.5 billion that you might qualify for. So again, head to Big Future, go under Pay for College, look at the scholarship search tool and the scholarship directory to get started. And of course, this is Big Future Scholarships Week, so we're excited to share how you can actually earn chances at $40,000 and $500 scholarships by starting your scholarship list. So this is how it works for our 10th and 11th graders out there. When you explore Big Future, when you explore scholarships on Big Future and save 3 or more of those to your scholarship list, you'll be automatically entered into drawings for $500 and $40,000 scholarships. Again, all you need to do is add 3 of those scholarships to your list. And the sooner you complete some of these steps, like starting your scholarship list or starting your college list as well, or even starting your career list, the more chances you have to win. So you can log on to Big Future right now, add 3 to your list, and you can earn an entry, even as you're watching this event. Again, no essay or application required. And you can use these scholarships to pay for tuition, fees, books, and other relevant educational expenses. So again, go to bigfuture.org/scholarships to learn more. And soon you could even be our next $40,000 scholarship winner. All right, let's get back to some of these questions as well. Our next question that we have is from Samantha. Samantha wants to know, if I won a scholarship and I want to transfer to a new college, do I lose the scholarship or does it transfer? Jeff, what do you say?
Yeah, great question. I'm sure each scholarship treats that a little bit differently. Ours is a 4-year annually renewable scholarship. And so, yes, we work with our scholars if they want to transfer, but we try to encourage them not to transfer too many times or switch majors too many times, because that really puts in jeopardy their ability to graduate in 4 years, which is when our scholarship expires. So yes, we want you to find the right fit for you in that college, but sometimes you just gotta stick where you're at once you get to a certain point.
Thanks, Jeff, and appreciate the question, Samantha. Terrence had a really good question, and Keisha, you mentioned this in your intro about wraparound services. What are wraparound services?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So in addition to the scholarship funding that you do receive each year at the Jackie Robinson Foundation, we have program elements that are really very important to us as we think about supporting college students through their college experience. And so we're specifically looking at making sure that there is professional development and personal development and leadership development support. So as you go to college and you are thinking about changing your major, or, you know, what kind of internship you'll have, or what, you know, career fields you might be interested in, we are offering support services to make sure that you know, that is, you see us as a resource as well, in addition to the resources at school. So that is specific support services where we're doing a little bit of academic advising, working with scholars in a one-to-one capacity. In addition to that, we have a pretty robust program calendar. We have yearly virtual programs. We have a national presence in that our scholars are all over the country. So we really spend a lot of time really doing a lot of virtual programming that really speaks to the leadership development, professional development, career development. In addition to that, we have annual programs that we have in person. We have a really large conference that we host each year, our Mentoring and Leadership Conference, that really is spirited on making sure that we're building community amongst our scholars and they are exposed to a myriad of pathways, interests, and folks across our network. And that happens each year. In addition to that, one of the hallmarks of our program is mentorship. And so we have a pretty long-standing mentoring program that all of our scholars are peer-paired during their sophomore and junior year with a mentor that is really working with them to meet some of the goals that they might have outlined for themselves as they think about, you know, moving through sophomore and junior year. So that's just giving you some sense of some of the wraparound support services that we do offer. And I imagine that scholarships that do offer this feature, and it's not just about scholarship money, that is really a great way for you to think about how you can see yourself being a part of a community as well as a network long beyond your tenure as college students.
Great. Thanks, Keisha. It's good to know that there are so many folks out there and so many programs out there to support students, not only through money, but through mentorship and some of the other resources that you mentioned. Mm-hmm. Mike, this next question is for you. Andrew wants to know, when a school accepts a student, will they tell them about other scholarship opportunities?
Yeah, that's a great one. Andrew, thanks for asking that question there. What I'll say is it depends on the school, and you're going to have a variety of different things that happen out there. When it comes to, say, merit scholarships from a school, from a specific school for that school, a lot of times they will tell you that at time of admission. But there are some schools out there that may have a separate application process you need to do. So that's something that just sort of, check the websites, read the instructions. A lot of times you'll have an admissions officer who is assigned to you, and you can ask them, hey, are there opportunities that I can apply for? But I do think a lot of the majority of schools out there, if there is some sort of merit award out there, the admissions office will get that to you at the time of admission. If it's a school that's only offering need-based aid, or maybe they're doing that on top of the merit, I know a lot of us in the financial aid offices do try to get that information to students almost as soon as they're admitted. We do want you to get the nice surprise, either through email, online, the portal, that you're admitted. We want that to be the first surprise, but then we want to have the financial aid information not too far after that. So for us, we actually turn things on at the same time, but we don't, as admissions lets students know they're admitted, but we'll actually email them their awards the next morning. So they can technically get it right away, but they'll definitely hear from us the next day there.
Thanks for that, Mike. And Andrew, that's a great question. And it's a good question too. How do you actually know what scholarships are out there? How do you find out about other opportunities? I know that's a question that a lot of parents have as well. So parents that are here tonight, don't worry, we have something for you too. If you're looking to connect your child with other scholarships, you can check out Big Future's free student search service program. Colleges and scholarship programs across the country rely on this service to find students who are a good fit for their programs. So if your child is participating in student search service already and you aren't, you should have received an email from Big Future yesterday with an invite to join. If you don't see that email, go ahead and encourage your child to sign up at bigfuture.org/search and to add your information to their account. Again, Student Search Service is how colleges, scholarship programs can connect with your students at home. So again, you can scan the QR code on the screen now to learn more. And let's get back to a couple more questions here. Cognizant of time, I can't believe how quickly it's going by. But our next question is going to be from Suzette. And Suzette wants to know, how do I know that a scholarship is legit? Todd, how does Suzette know if a scholarship is legit?
Wow, that's a tough one. I mean, I would say one, if you see it listed on websites like a Big Futures or places, or at your school or places that you would trust, then that's probably going to be legit. To be honest, I haven't heard too many stories of illegitimate scholarship programs. I'm sure they're out there, but that's not really something I hear much about. But I would say in general, also here's the other piece I would say. If you're not sure, if it doesn't sound legit, do a Google search and see, do they have a website? Is there information out there that says it's a scam? I think that's probably the thing I would recommend is do a little bit of research. But in general, I think most scholarship programs that you're going to come across are legit. So I wouldn't overly worry about that.
Great advice, Todd. And as Todd mentioned, all the scholarships on Big Future, are trustworthy. We actually work with the National Scholarships Providers Association to make sure that all those scholarships have been vetted. So that's a good place to start. One other question we have before we get to our final question is from Zoe. Zoe wants to know, do I get the money directly for the scholarships, or is it sent to the college or university that I'm applying to? Jose, what do you say to that? Does the money go directly to the school or to the student, or does it depend?
Yeah, this is another case where it really depends on the specific scholarship program. Usually those more local scholarship opportunities might give the recipient some form of check to disperse the award. And in that case, if it's given directly to the student. That's money that's in your hands, and it doesn't get sent to your specific college directly. That said, other scholarship programs, particularly more national opportunities, will often send awards directly to the institution. And that's routed through your financial aid office. It'll change the kind of composition of your award letter. And that's still money that can still end up in a student's pocket. Sometimes a financial aid office can work with a student to have a portion of what's sent to the institution refunded to the student directly. So even if it's sent to your college, it's not something that's completely lost from you. So it really depends, but that's kind of the short answer to it.
Thanks, Jose. And we're going to do one last question before we close out here. And Jeff, this question is going to go to you. Janina wants to know, what motivational advice would you give to a student who continues to apply for a scholarship but doesn't get accepted?
Oh, yeah, great question. Scholarships can be competitive and it takes a lot of work. And so ask for feedback if a scholarship provider is willing to give you that, so you can learn from maybe a reason why you got turned down. But I'd say keep your head up, talk to students that you know, friends, family that have gotten scholarships, and see if they have advice they might be able to share with you, and keep applying, because just because you know that you got turned down from one scholarship, these other scholarship providers don't know that you've been turned down or how many times. So brush it off, keep going. There are scholarships out there that want to help you. So keep your head up and keep trying is what I would recommend.
That is great advice. Keep trying, keep your head up. There is opportunity out there for you. And unfortunately, that is all the time we have for today. I want to thank all of our special guests for joining us, and of course, all the students and caring adults out there for all of the great questions. We'd love to hear how today's session went. So after your screen closes, you're going to be automatically redirected to a feedback survey. Please go ahead and complete that. It helps us to make future Big Future Live events even better. And if you missed anything from today's session, don't worry. You can view the recording and register for more events at bigfuture.org/live. And don't miss the final night of Big Future Scholarships Week tomorrow, where we talk all about how to explore careers and find your dream job. And of course, learn more about how to qualify for $500 and $40,000 Big Future scholarships. You can learn more at bigfuture.org/scholarships. Thanks everyone for joining us, and have a wonderful night.